Imagine you are lying in bed. It is 3 in the morning. You are staring at the dark ceiling, feeling a familiar wave of frustration wash over you because you are awake again. Why can you never sleep normally? Why is your body fighting the one thing it needs to survive? You have been told your entire life that 8 hours of unbroken sleep is the ultimate goal, a biological necessity. But what if everything you know about sleep is completely wrong? What if waking up in the middle of the night is not a disorder, but a highly tuned defense mechanism? Think about the bed you sleep in right now. It is soft, safe, and completely isolated from the outside world. You lock your doors, turn off the lights, and expect your brain to simply shut down for a third of the day. But your brain was not designed in a modern apartment. It was designed in the wild. For hundreds of thousands of years, the night was the most dangerous time to be alive. When the sun went down, the apex predators came out. If your ancestors had shut down completely for 8 straight hours, you would not be here today. Your existence is the result of extreme paranoia. How exactly did this paranoia shape the way you sleep tonight? In 2015, an anthropologist named David Sampson decided to observe how human beings actually sleep in the wild. He traveled to Tanzania to study the Hadza people, one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer tribes on Earth. He placed activity monitors on the tribe members to see what their nights actually looked like. What he found completely shattered the modern understanding of rest. Over the course of 3 weeks, there were only 18 minutes where all the adults were asleep at the exact same time. 18 minutes. For the rest of the night, someone was always awake. Some people went to sleep early and woke up early. Others stayed up late and slept in. Many woke up in the middle of the night, stoked the fire, checked the perimeter, and went back to sleep. Sampson called this the sentinel hypothesis. Your brain is hardwired to participate in a biological night watch. When you wake up at 3 in the morning, your brain is not malfunctioning. It is taking its shift. It is waking you up to check the environment, ensure the tribe is safe, and listen for danger. But you do not have a fire to stoke or a perimeter to check. You just have a smartphone and a growing sense of panic about how tired you will be tomorrow. This panic is a relatively new invention. For most of human history, waking up in the middle of the night was completely normal. It was so normal that it actually had a name. A historian named A. Roger E. Kirch spent decades reading ancient diaries, medical books, and court records. He discovered that before the Industrial Revolution, nobody slept for 8 hours straight. Humanity slept in 2 distinct phases. They called it the first sleep and the second sleep. You would go to bed shortly after sunset and sleep for about 4 hours. Then, you would wake up around midnight. You would stay awake for an hour or two. During this time, people would read, pray, talk, or even visit neighbors in the dark. It was a peaceful, accepted part of the human experience. Then, you would go back to bed for your second sleep until dawn. So what changed? Why are you now expected to sleep like a machine powered down for the night? The answer is artificial light and the factory clock. When the light bulb was invented, the night was pushed back. When the Industrial Revolution took over, your time was no longer your own. Society squeezed your rest into a single, highly efficient block to maximize your working hours. The 8-hour unbroken sleep is not a biological law. It is an economic construct. And this construct is silently destroying your mental health. Think about what happens when you wake up in the middle of the night today. You look at the glowing numbers on the clock. You calculate how many hours you have left before your alarm goes off. Your heart rate increases. Your brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone, preparing you to fight or flee from a threat. But the threat is not a predator. The threat is the anxiety of not sleeping. Sleep researcher Jerome Siegel has studied the sleep patterns of various traditional societies around the world. He found that in these isolated societies, insomnia is practically non-existent. They do not even have a word for it in their languages. They do not have a word for it because they do not have a rigid rule about how sleep is supposed to happen. If they wake up, they are simply awake. If they are tired, they sleep. You, on the other hand, are suffering from sleep performance anxiety. You are terrified of the dark because you are terrified of failing at sleep. Let us look deeper into what is actually happening inside your head when you drift off. Your sleep is divided into 90-minute cycles. You move from light sleep down into deep, slow wave sleep and back up into REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement, the stage where you dream. At the end of every 90-minute cycle, your brain brings you very close to the surface of waking consciousness. In ancient times, this was a security checkpoint. Your brain would briefly wake you up to scan the environment. Is it too cold? Is there a strange noise? Is the fire still burning? If everything was safe, you would slip right back into the next sleep cycle, entirely forgetting that you ever woke up. But modern life has hijacked this security checkpoint. When your brain brings you to the surface today, it encounters an environment that confuses it. Maybe your room is entirely silent, which to an ancient brain signals that the insects and animals are hiding from a predator. Maybe the temperature in your room is perfectly controlled at 72 degrees. In nature, the temperature drops dramatically at night, signaling to your body that it is time to hibernate and rest. Without that temperature drop, your brain thinks it is still daytime. And then there is the light. When your ancestors woke up in the night, the only light they saw was the deep orange glow of a fire or the pale silver of the moon. These colors do not disrupt melatonin, the hormone that controls your sleep cycle. But when you wake up and check your phone, you blast your retinas with blue light. To your ancient brain, blue light means the sun is rising. It instantly shuts down melatonin production. It floods your system with wakeful energy. You have essentially tricked your own biology into thinking the night is over. Why do you keep punishing your biology for doing exactly what it was designed to do? You force yourself into a pitch-black, silent room. You demand immediate unconsciousness from a brain that is built for vigilance. You become enraged when your ancient survival mechanisms refuse to comply with your modern schedule. What would happen if you simply stopped fighting it? What if the next time you wake up at 3 in the morning, you did not look at the clock? What if you accepted that your biological night watch had simply begun? You could get up. You could read a book in dim, warm light. You could let your mind wander in the quietest hours of the world. You could experience the beautiful, liminal space between the first and second sleep, exactly as your ancestors did. The modern world has convinced you that you are broken. It has pathologized a perfectly natural human rhythm. It has turned rest into a performance metric that you feel you are constantly failing. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Your biology is working perfectly. It has kept your ancestors alive for millions of years. Imagine you are lying in bed. It is 3 in the morning. You are staring at the dark ceiling, but this time, there is no frustration. You are awake again. And for the first time, you realize you are exactly where you are supposed to be.